How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today, I'm going to show you how to sell stuff on eBay. Selling should really be part of everybody's toolbox because as you live through life, you're going to accumulate a lot of items. And with some accumulation, you also need to get rid of some, or else you're just going to keep on getting more and more stuff. Now, there is a perk with having a constant stream of selling. Mainly, when you buy stuff, you're going to collect a lot of Amazon boxes or boxes from wherever places. So as you buy stuff, rather than dispose of these boxes and recycle them, you just keep them around and you can just reuse them to ship them back out. Therefore, you don't pay anything for the packaging of the items that you sell. Now, all you have to do is just go on eBay, sign up for a brand new account, and then you can start selling. As a practice round, I would select one item that you really want to sell. For example, let's say I want to sell T-Rex over here. What? You gotta be kidding me. You can't sell me. I'm part of the show. Yes, T-Rex, you are part of the show, but I'm just doing this as an example here. So you guys don't get too worried that I'm gonna sell him. He's staying for good. This is just an example. So you pick T-Rex as something that you want to sell. Get rid of the stuff that's hanging around him, of course. You need a camera to take pictures with. You can use a compact camera like this, or you can use your cell phone. You need to take good pictures. So if you're a photographer, then all the much easier for you. You really want things to be clear, well lit, and possibly if you want a light box, you should get one of those, but those are further down. Just to begin with, you don't really need anything like that. You just, set it on the ground, set it on a couch like this, and go ahead and take a picture like this. And you are allowed up to 12 pictures for free these days. They change the terms all the time, but since they have 12 free pictures, might as well take as many as you can. More clear pictures, the better, because generally, if the buyer can see every single angle of the item, they can see that it's not damaged, and you say, this is the exact item that you're selling, then it'll make them more likely to buy it. So not only I'm gonna take an overall picture like this, I'm gonna take some close up of the arm, I'm gonna take the underside over here, or maybe I'm gonna take a picture of the tag like this, the backside, just everything, up to 12 pictures, just fill it up. Now, since T-Rex is a vintage item, it's really hard to price it because I can go on eBay and try to find a T-Rex, and I cannot find anything equivalent. But if you are selling something that is more typical, you can go on eBay, search for that item, and click down on the very left column, click completed listings, and see how much the typical item that you're trying to sell goes for. Now, after you have an idea of how much they go for, you can go, oh yeah, the lowest it ever sells for is like $20. And, on average, they sell for like $35. Well, you can, have a little bit of leeway. You might think your item is really good, it's really new, then you might want to set it a little bit higher rather than the cheapest. So searching for a completed listing really helps you on knowing how to price the item. Because if you just go in blind and just go, oh, I think it's worth this much to me, most of the time you might be too low or too high. When you price it too high, no one's gonna buy it. When you price it too low, someone is just gonna be able to pick it up for much cheaper than it's valued for. The second thing is to really decide if you want to go for an auction or buy it now price. Generally, I personally like buy it now price because I want to put the price in there, and if someone wants it for that particular price, they can buy it. Rather than bidding, when you want to set it up as an auction, you generally need to set it up quite a bit lower than what the price that you want it to go for. And you just kind of let it be an auction. And you can have a reserve price, but that generally reduces the number of people that want to bid. A reserve price is a price that it needs to go over before it sells. So sometimes if there's a lot of competition for that item and you are very, very sure that there's gonna be a lot of people looking at it, it might be good to set it at an auction for even 1 penny, because no one's gonna let it go for 1 penny. People are gonna try to outbid each other. Now, the thing with the auction is you don't want it to end like 3 in the morning, because then no one is going to be looking at that item and some crazy person is just going to stay up all night and buy it for 1 penny. In that case, that's why sometimes you see items that are sold for really low. In other cases, sometimes items sell for really low when they name the product incorrectly. Maybe they misspelled it or something. So this is a chance for the buyer as well. If you're buying something, you can misspell something, and possibly the seller also misspelled it, and then you can buy it for cheap as well. Now, after all this, you want to set a shipping price. Now, eBay has this thing where you can set how much it's actually going to ship for. Generally, for me, I want to make it simple. Very, very dead simple. I just set a standard flat price Generally, you can guess that anything over a pound that ships via either FedEx or UPS is going to range from $8 to $12 if it's something that is, not too heavy like this thing. I would guess that this stuffed animal would probably ship for $12 to $15. Sometimes if you're shipping something like this, which is a bit lighter than 1 pound, it can fit in a bubble wrap envelope, then it can ship for a lot less at first class through USPS. Now you may stumble a little bit and maybe sometimes you might guess the price wrong. It might be a little bit low. It's okay. As long as the average averages out, and as you sell more and more, you're gonna gain more experience on kind of really guessing well on how much something would ship. Right now, these days, whenever I look at something, I just go, oh, ballpark around that much. Sometimes the buyer pays a little bit more. Sometimes I'm under maybe a few dollars or even $10 even. But the point here is that it averages out, and that's okay. As long as there's a flat rate shipping, it makes things a lot easier rather than the buyer needs to try to guess how much their shipping is, or they have to put it in the calculator and figure out actually how much it costs to ship. In this case, when you put a flat rate shipping, you do not have to weigh the item beforehand. You just take a few pictures, make your listing, put a flat rate shipping, and then let it go. And then you don't have to do any work until it actually sells. Now, when it actually sells, what do? You need to ship it. So that's where these boxes come in. When you have a large cache of these boxes from Amazon or anywhere else, generally when I get them, I immediately rip off the label, because if it stays on the box for a really long time, it's harder to rip off the label. So once you get the item, I just go, rip it off, and it becomes a usable box immediately whenever I sell something. So let's say T-Rex here is gonna go to a buyer over here. I also save these bubble wrap things, these package wrap. And because T-Rex is a plush, I could possibly ship it in a bag, but I'm just gonna use this box as an example here. And likely you probably don't really need all this bubble wrap over here at all. So you can basically just, put them in there like this. And you might wanna be careful that people use a cutter to open over here. You don't want it to damage. So maybe you might wanna put a piece of cardboard all over there so that if people are carelessly opening it, they won't damage the stuff inside. Now, so far, you just need a camera to take pictures, and most people already have a camera. You do need one of these handy tape dispenser things. It's just $2 and possibly a good cache of packaging tape. I buy like 6 to 12 of them at a time, and they just sit around until I need them. So, you just put your stuff in your box, you close it up. You see, if I don't cut open the tape here from Amazon, I do not have to tape it again. Therefore, I'm really reusing that piece of tape as well. Now, this is all packed up. When you go and ship something, you can actually ship stuff through eBay. And I think you can ship things through USPS or UPS. Now, when I put the listing, I selected a flat rate option, and the speed is generally normal shipping speed, like 5 to 10 days or something. So I can try to pick something at the cheapest, and most people would actually want the cheapest shipping as they can get. The next item that you need is a tape measure or a ruler, because you need to put in the dimensions of this box and also the weight of this box into eBay so that they can calculate the postage for you, and then you can buy the postage through eBay itself. Now you just take your tape measure and then go, okay, 17 and a half, 8 and a half, and 14, and all of these dimensions, you stick it inside the eBay thing. And over here I have a scale. You just turn it on, and because it's flat like this, I need to offset it a little bit so that I can see the reading. So I'm gonna tear it, use this tape thing. It says 1.7 pounds for this whole thing. So I have the dimensions and the weight. You stick it all into eBay, and then you can select from various shipping options. Most likely this thing would generally go through FedEx/USPS. It's this cheaper option of FedEx. It's generally, I don't know, like 10 to 20 cents cheaper. I ended up normally using FedEx. Also to note that anything larger than, about a shoe box size, it's generally better to go UPS or FedEx. You'll start to realize that if you compare the two, you can compare all you want for every single shipping option, USPS, FedEx, all of those, and then it'll give you a price, and then you can go, okay, I want, the cheapest one. There's always a lot of USPS flat rate, which is a lot cheaper, but somehow it doesn't know that you're not using the flat rate. So those options are always hanging around. So you gotta pick the cheaper option that is not the flat rate in order to pick the correct one. Now, sometimes you do want to use the flat rate one. For anything that is super duper heavy that I find out is worth it to use the flat rate. Like anything that is like, the weight density of a battery that you can fit in those flat rate boxes. Therefore, if it's one of those really tiny boxes and you just fill it up with batteries, then it's really worth it to ship through those USPS flat rate boxes. Now, after you select the shipping option, you just buy it right then and there. And then it's gonna give you an option for printing a shipping label. That's where you needing a printer comes in. Now, I would recommend having a laser printer rather than an inkjet because you can print much more at a much lower cost. Then you can just print it out on a piece of paper. It does not have to be sticky. Then you just cut it out and stick it onto the box with some tape. Just, tape all the corners and don't cover the barcodes or anything. They don't like that. If you get a little bit more savvy, you can order free supplies from USPS, the labels, boxes and stuff for priority mail. And UPS also gives out free shipping labels if you use it with their carrier. So after you do all this, you really need to know where your closest USPS mailboxes, USPS location, FedEx location, and also UPS location. If it's anything bigger than the USPS mailbox, that means you have to go physically to the USPS post office. This is not ideal because sometimes, most of the time, it's not that close. This is all about going the minimum distance to be able to ship your stuff still. So shipping USPS is not bad if you have a mailbox that's down the street and you can put the packages in it. Other times when it's USPS or FedEx, you need to know the locations of those drop-off locations, and then you just swing by, on your way to work and just drop it off, and it's a done deal. Typically, as soon as you buy the shipping label through eBay, you can already cash out the money that came into your eBay account. Basically, you can go to your PayPal account. You also need to register for one of those in addition to the eBay. And money will already be in your PayPal account, and you can immediately transfer this to your bank account, which means you need to link your bank account to your PayPal account as well. I hope this was informative for you. This is not meant to be like an expert course or anything. This is just if you have a few things laying around the house, what is the way to get you started? This is like bare vanilla way with minimal effort to get you started. If you're interested in the products that I mentioned that'll help you sell on eBay, I'll list them down in the video description below. This includes a low-cost laser printer, which is about $70 or less. This scale thing that'll weigh up to 10 pounds, I'll leave a video review over here. Tape measure, everybody has this. This dispenser was incredibly cheap and it might fluctuate, but I'll leave it down in the video description anyway. This is Duck brand tape and it goes for about $1.50 a roll if you buy in a pack of 6. Now this is a little bit thinner than normal packaging tape, but it'll do just fine for eBay stuff as long as it's not too heavy. If you go to the store and buy a roll this big, it's likely gonna cost you maybe like $3 or $4. So when you buy in bulk, if you plan to just keep on offloading a lot of your stuff, you will need a little bit more tape. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know if you have better tips and tricks for eBay or if you already do this already. If you're interested in supporting my channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below, where you can get a free audiobook. And if you don't like this audiobook, you can cancel it before the subscription expires and you can still keep this audiobook and you don't have to pay a thing. If you're interested in supporting my channel directly, check out my Patreon page over here where I give various perks at various contribution levels, such as help with your credit score or help with your finances. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel over here and click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get a notification whenever I upload a brand new video. Thanks for watching.